Daily Broadside, day 530. You know what I'm about sick of guys doing? Thinking they're all sly. Is trying to turn Stevie Wonder's brilliant song, Isn't She Lovely, into like a love song, right? It's a love song to a damn baby, okay? His baby, Aisha, or whatever her name was, had just been born. I mean, listen to the damn lyrics. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Only 1 minute old, okay? And then it's like, I never think that we could be through love could create. I mean, he's talking about him and his wife, girlfriend, whatever she was, creating a baby out of love, okay? And I mean, they've even got her like, it was a little later in life, but still, like her bathing, like sounds of her bathing in the damn song. And dudes are like, talking about, isn't she love? Like, no, dude, that's about a kid. Okay, get it right. And while we're on the topic of Stevie Wonder, who is brilliant, I mean, beyond brilliant. I mean, everybody talks about how brilliant Prince is, and Prince has got a lot going on, but when, you can do like Prince, Stevie Wonder, Lenny Kravitz, all these dudes that are just really soul funk driven and got all these rock elements, just all these different genres, and they can play multiple instruments. Stevie, all those dudes, they track everything themselves. I love that about them, right? Not to mention there's brilliant songwriting, but Stevie is in a level, he makes Prince look like, what's those whip it diva? He makes Prince look like Devo. I mean, just not even on the radar of brilliant musicianship. But let's talk about the three great albums. I was thinking about it today, and I was trying to decide: is Talking Book 72, Intervisions 73, or Where Isn't She Lovely came from, the great magnus opus double album, Songs in the Key of Life from 1976. Which one of those three absolutely perfect, brilliant albums is the best? And I thought about it for a while, and I got to go Intervisions. It used to be Songs in the Key of Life, but then Intervisions, man, Mr. Know-It-All, Living for the City, All in Love is Fair. I mean, that second half of that album is just better than like 3 or 4 albums combined of a lot of bands, but it's so good. I believe when I fall in love, it'll last forever. That's from Talking Book, but they're all brilliant. But I'm going to go Intervisions, Songs in the Key of Life, and then Talking Book. However, if any of those three just disappeared from my lexicon, it wouldn't be bad if the other ones just bumped right into their place. You know what I mean? Because they're just such brilliant, brilliant pieces. If all you know about Stevie Wonder is like, signed, sealed, delivered, you are the sunshine of my life, all that, you need to like get into his deep cuts and get going on what Stevie's really offered the world, because it's just brilliant. It's kind of like he's a lot like Elton John in that sense, like Madman Across the Water, all those albums, all you hear is the crap on the radio, and there's some brilliant songs, but he just did so much better stuff, that if you go into his deep cuts and really get into the stuff that Elton did, you'll see how much more brilliant he really is. Even his cocaine 80s days, I still like. I mean, there's some great stuff, right? But anyway, I move on. I think to be a boxer, if you've ever been to a boxing gym and worked out, it's intense, let's just say, right? I mean, to be a boxer or any, mixed martial artist or pugilist or combatives guy, whatever, but boxing, in and of itself, there's just not, at least with like jiu-jitsu, you've got a million different things you can work on. Whereas boxing, there's, only so many basic punches that you can work on. There's only so many things you can do. It gets very monotonous, relatively speaking, to other, forms of martial arts, let's say. And I'm not even calling boxing a martial art, but here's the thing, right? It takes a lot of discipline to be the best, to be at the top of a game and be a boxer. You've got to have a lot of discipline. And you know what I think shows that Rocky just was a farce? That he didn't have the discipline? Bitch didn't even have the discipline to cook eggs, okay? You in your camp, right? And I know your camp is just you in a nasty-ass gray sweatshirt that you probably worn 19 days in a row, running around Philly, and catching chickens and hitting beef. I just come down here and I hit the beef, All that, I get it, right? Like your camp is very ignorant, relatively speaking. But if you don't have the diligence to cook the eggs and then eat them instead of just cracking them and going on, I mean, that's like the opposite of discipline. That's just lazy. That's flat out lazy, you know? And the other thing is you're risking your camp getting sick. You know, you can get pretty damn sick from, drinking raw eggs and everything. I don't like that. I don't like that at one bit. And it just shows me that Rocky has no discipline. And that's why he shouldn't have been heavyweight champion of the world. Speaking of eating things, right? There are very few things in life, when done properly, that can best a ribeye steak sandwich. A ribeye steak sandwich, first of all, a ribeye is the best cut of meat. And when you take it, you don't ever get like a sirloin sandwich or a T-bone sandwich or, that kind of, it's a ribeye steak sandwich because they know that only the best survive the sandwich game, right? But here's the thing. Here is, and tell me if you've been through this experience, right? If you've ever had a ribeye steak sandwich. All right, this is the thought process. Ooh, I got a ribeye steak sandwich. $14.95. That sounds like a smoking deal. And why is a ribeye steak sandwich so much cheaper than a real ribeye, right? I know it's usually like a lower grade cut of meat in a lot of places. And if you go to a diner, you get a ribeye steak sandwich, you're not getting, Roost Chris quality ribeye, but still, there are some places that it's still way more affordable than if you got it on a plate with a baked potato, and it tastes pretty damn good, right? But you order and you're like, I don't have the ribeye steak sandwich, light mayo, all right? Okay, and it comes out, right? And you're like, ooh, looks succulent, right? It's like a cactus. And so you're eating, you bite into it, and you're like, oh my God, right? This fat is scrum-dilly-licious, right? It's like when John Candy eats the old 96er, right? In the Great Outdoors, he's like, eat the fat, right? And the guy's like, and he's like, oh, the fat's the best part. That's where all the taste goes, right? You want to eat the fat. And so you're eating that ribeye steak sandwich, and you take that first bite, and you're like, ooh, this is good. And then you quickly realize, and this is me thinking in my head. This is what goes through my head when I'm eating a ribeye steak sandwich, typically speaking. I eat it, I'm like, that is a damn good, just a perfect blend of juicy yet whatever. Oh, I'm finding that very difficult to chew this bite off. I have already swallowed the bread, but the beef portion of the sandwich is still in my mouth, and I'm trying to break it off. And this is not working. I'm just going to take a bigger bite. And then you chew off a little bit more, right? And now the next thing you know, you've got like 4 bites of ribeye steak sandwich because you can't chew it off. Your teeth aren't razor enough to cut through. You don't have a steak knife on, filed into your teeth. So you just keep eating, and you're like, at some point, I'm going to get to a point where I can just kind of rip this thing off like a bear eating a salmon, out of a river. And then it never happens. And the next thing you know, you've got an entire ribeye steak sandwich in your mouth. And you're just holding like soppy mayonnaise bread with pink on it, and your fingers are just buried into it. And you've eaten an entire ribeye steak sandwich all in one bite. And now you've got to chew this up, and you're pulling stuff out, and it's just, I don't know how to make this better, but I'm thinking diced up ribeye, like kind of like a beef tip and rice type of consistency. Just dice it up, put it on like a different kind of bread, okay? Quit bringing the ribeye steak sandwich out on white bread or something weak like that. Put it on like a French baguette, something that's got some consistency, like a tortoise shell, it's got like a carapace, something that holds it in, with a little gusto, as they say. Bread needs to have a gusto, I say, if it's going to hold a ribeye steak sandwich, because you end up eating that whole sandwich in one bite. Good Saturday to everyone. No, wait, it's not Saturday. Good Friday to everybody. I don't know what day it is half the time. Hey, Giddy.